If you are in your 50s or early 60s and you've saved $350,000 for retirement and you don't have a pension and you're wondering, will this be enough for retirement? You are not alone. This video is for people just like you. Pre-retirees who have saved diligently but don't have an income stream in retirement aside from Social Security. So today I'll walk through a practical strategy to build sustainable retirement income from where you're at today, and how to avoid some of the biggest pitfalls that we see in this range of savings. So let's start with the obvious question. Is $350,000 enough to retire? And the honest answer, it depends. It depends on your expenses, your health, when you plan to retire, and how flexible you are willing to be in retirement. But here's the good news. You can create a plan that focuses on risk, builds in flexibility, and gives you a clearer path forward, even without a pension. Most people in this position don't need millions. Rather, they need a smart strategy and a few key decisions made right. So here's the 5-step framework that we use when advising clients in your exact situation. Step 1, know your survival number. Before anything else, you need to calculate your essential monthly expenses. Now, what's essential? Housing, food, insurance, transportation, and healthcare. We want to ask ourselves, what is the bare minimum that I need each month to live with dignity and security? This number becomes your baseline. It informs everything else that we do. Step 2, identify your income floor. What income do you have coming in? What is your Social Security estimate? Do you have forms of other income, like rental income? Do you have income from part-time work or phased retirement? The reason we want to know this income floor is we're going to compare this to your survival number. If there's a gap, and there often is, the rest has to come from your portfolio. That's where planning gets critical. Step 3, align your investments with your income needs. This is where many people go wrong. At this stage, you can't afford to be overly aggressive, but being too conservative can actually be just as dangerous. We often break our investments into buckets. We have bucket number 1, which is short-term liquidity needs, income needs. Think 0 to 3 years. In this bucket, we're going to have things like cash, money markets, CDs, and short-term bonds. The second bucket is our medium-term bucket, our defensive bucket. Think 5 to 10 years out. We're going to have a balanced mix of bonds and dividend-paying stocks. And then we have our long-term growth bucket. Think 10 plus years. We're going to have growth-oriented investments like stocks in this bucket. See, each bucket serves a purpose here. The goal is no longer to beat the market. Rather, the goal is how can we create sustainable income that will fill our income gap and get us through retirement. Step number 4, create a flexible withdrawal plan. Rather than using that general rule of thumb, that rigid 4% rule, build a dynamic withdrawal strategy. We want to build this withdrawal strategy based on market performance, inflation, life expectancy, and income needs. This can include things like reducing withdrawals in bad market years, and maybe increasing withdrawals in good market years. Building a strategic Social Security withdrawal strategy. When do you take Social Security? Do you take it at 62, 65, 67, or at 70? And using Roth and tax advantage accounts strategically. Guys, it's not a single number. Rather, it's about making smart adjustments year by year. Let's go into step number 5. This is the step that is most often overlooked. People tend to ignore this. And that is preparing for things like healthcare costs, inflation eating away at your purchasing power, long-term care costs, taxes in retirement, and sequence of returns risk. Now, it's important to note that you don't need to fear these. Rather, you need to strategically plan for them so that they don't create gaps or leaks in your retirement plan. We need to build a solid strategy that's going to include guardrails, maybe a small cash reserve or a health savings account, dependent on your situation. So where do we go from here? Well, if you're sitting with $350,000 and no pension, here is the bottom line. You can't just wing it. But you also don't need $1 million to retire smart. Rather, you need clarity in your numbers. You need investments that have a purpose. You need to be invested with purpose. You need a flexible income strategy in retirement. And you need to plan for the risks that can derail your investments. See, you're not too late here, but now is the time to act with intentionality. If you still have questions about your retirement income plan, I invite you to click the link below in the description and start on your free retirement plan today. Can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much.